Hey, have you heard about my AI alter ego? That's right. Ask Alan Anything is now live, and we've trained it on my 13 books. We've trained it on over 200 podcasts. It has most of what's in here, not everything, but most of what's in here. And you can, when you're sitting around going, gee, I wonder what Alan would do in this situation, or I wonder what Alan would say in this situation. Well, now you can. Go to whatwouldallansay.com. Enter the coupon code podcast because you're going to get half off. It starts at only $10 a month. And now when you're thinking, I wonder what Alan say? Now you can actually ask. Go to whatwouldallansay.com, enter the coupon code podcast, and start asking me anything. When is it time to do it yourself? When is it time to have someone do it for you? Listen to this episode. See where I'm going. Welcome to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. I'm your host, Alan Berg. I'm a speaker, sales trainer, consultant, author, and I help businesses like yours sell more, profit more, and have a little more fun doing it. Enjoy this episode. Hey, it's Alan Berg. Welcome back to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. I'm so happy to have my friend Mark Chapman back on again to talk about helping you with your online advertising. How you doing, Mark?
Hey, Alan. I'm doing good. Hello, everyone listening, wherever you are.
So between Mark and Brian Lawrence, I think you're fighting for who's been on the podcast more. We'll have to
I don't
see.
know.
I
It's
don't
not a
know.
fight. It's all good, right?
It is
Never
all
a
good.
fight.
Yeah, maybe I should have you both on at the same time. Maybe we should do
Ooh,
one of
we could
those. We could
duke
do
it
one of
out.
those.
Yeah.
So the reason I invited you on, Mark, is because you offer do it for you and do it yourself things in terms of advertising. We'll get to that. But just in general, I just wanted to talk about this because it involves much more than just the things that you do or that I do, that
Sure.
we as small businesses, and most people listening are small businesses or small staffs, or you look in the mirror and find the staff because that's it. Um,
hmm
and we all run up against this. Something needs to get done. So do I do it myself? Maybe I don't know how. Do I learn how
Yep.
to do it myself? Do I hire somebody to do it? If I have team people, do I teach one of them to do it? Like when is the time? And I'm sure you run into this with your clients all the time, right?
Oh, for sure. Even in my own business, right? Every business that starts somewhere and grows to something else goes through these phases of like, oh, I don't have enough time to do that myself anymore. Or I need to do that myself because I need to learn it. Yeah, there's lots of different scenarios.
Yeah, I remember listening to a book a long time ago, and the author said he charged $250 an hour for his time. And if there was anything that was $100 an hour or less, he wouldn't do it. He would hire somebody to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And I've used that benchmark for myself so many times. Like I had something I needed to get customized in my Zoho CRM. And they came back to me and they kind of apologized. And they said, well, it's going to cost $97 an hour. It's probably going to take us 4 hours. And I said, good, do it. Like,
Because the
like no
maths.
hesitation.
It's all about
Right.
the math. Yeah.
Right. And in their mind, I'm sure they get people that object and they're like, oh, we charge $97 an hour. And I just immediately went and said, okay, so it's 1 hour of my time
Yeah.
if I had a client. I don't know how to do what you're doing, so it's not going to take me 4 hours. If it's going to take you four
Yeah.
hours, it's probably going to take me 8 hours or more. It's just not worth it. And I'm actually going through that right now, something else with Zoho, and it's costing me $1,100 to get this customization done. And I just did in my head, and I said, okay, so that's 3 hours of my time,
Yep.
and I don't know how to do this, and
Yep.
I'm going to have to sit and figure it. So I figured it was probably I know it's taking him way more than 3 hours, way more because
But you're
we're
getting
going back
billed
and
for
forth.
3 hours. Yeah.
Right. And I know his
Yeah.
rate is less, but just I've come to that realization that if I can focus my attention back on my business
Yep.
and not learning this skill that I might not know again, I think that might be something there that really is the difference. Like, Mark, if somebody who is comes to you probably has tried doing their own online advertising already,
Yep.
right? They've tried and it just hasn't worked. Their Google ads, their Instagram ads, their TikTok ads and stuff like that. And they're like, I'm just throwing money out the window. So do I go away from social or do I talk to somebody else? And those of you who haven't heard Mark before, he will generously give you a 30-minute call, talk about
Yeah.
what you're doing now at no
Look into your ad
charge.
accounts. Yep.
Yeah, and look at your ad
Exactly.
accounts and see what you're doing. And then it's okay, so now you can tell them, all right, here's what you need to do. And some people be like, cool. And some people will be like, I still
I
don't know
don't
how to
want to
do
do it.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because the platforms are so frustrating, Alan. There's so many different options, and these platforms are built for companies like Target and Starbucks, right? But we're like the little guys, and we don't need 80% of the options that are there. And figuring out what options you do or don't need can be really overwhelming. And I just have so much empathy because that was me when I started doing ads for my own photography studio when I was younger, many, many years ago.
Yeah. And I think it's, again, all of our businesses. I'm not afraid to invest in my business. I understand that it might not work, right? Whatever it
Yeah.
is might not work. And the audiobook that I'm listening to now is another book on decision making. I love listening to books on decision making and just the psychologists and the psychology of decision making. And it talked about two different mindsets. And the mindset, the growth mindset, which apparently I have, which is failure is a part of the path to success. Whereas
Hmm.
the fixed mindset is it's this or it's nothing. And I'm like, okay, it's this. Great, it worked. Good.
Yeah.
No, it didn't work. Now what else can we do? So I'm not afraid to throw money at something because the return is the return I want. And
Yeah.
I can't get that.
Yeah, I think that's a function of you being a seasoned business owner. And I'm going to share a story. I mean, putting myself in those shoes of someone who just started my business ages ago, photography studio. I think when you fail and you get burned and you lose a little bit of money, like it hurts. It hurts viscerally.
Yeah.
But then you get a little bit further in business and you realize, oh crap, like actually failure is just going to be part of the process. And you're going to try to do things yourself. You're going to pay a little money for things that probably aren't the right fit, but you figure that out. But that's just part of the process. And I think maybe some encouragement to give folks that are listening who may be in that beginning stage is like, it's okay. It feels really bad at the moment, but like that's going to be part of the process. And there's a future where failure happens and you're like, well, that didn't work. And you're moving on within 30 seconds.
Right. Right. And I've mentioned before Adam Grant, his book Hidden Potential. And he happened to start talking about language at the beginning of the book. Adults that were good at language as adults that were not good at language as children. And I was like,
Mm,
wow, this guy's talking about me. Like that's it. And what it is I'm comfortable with not being good at something now.
hmm.
The younger me was very much a perfectionist, very much, if I
Yeah.
can't master this, I'm not even going to try. And
Yeah.
I think that's also part of this is I know when I have to give it to somebody else because I'm never going to do it as well as somebody else can
Yep.
do.
Yep.
And then part of us, and I'm not calling anybody out here particular, I'm just maybe myself is, part of us is this whole hypocrisy, like I can do it better, or
Hmm.
and the
Yeah.
reality is we want people to pay us for the expertise we have, whether it's photography or
Yeah.
advertising or cakes or officiating or whatever. We want them to pay us because of our
Yeah.
expertise. We have to be willing to do that as well. Now,
Yeah.
so getting back to the original premise of this, there are times when learn the skill, it's okay,
Yeah.
right? I'm pretty handy around the house. We had a water filter that I wanted to change to be one that would take lead out because our water company sent us a letter saying it's okay, but the lead level's just a little bit high. And my wife and I are like, really now?
Oh, lead levels.
Right. Yeah.
Let's
It's just
change
it's just a
that.
little over the minimum. Like maybe not. So
Yeah. No thanks.
I've done plumbing before, but I've never
Yeah.
used these things called shark bite connectors. Never used them at all. So I'm like, I don't. I'm gonna go to Home Depot. And I'm talking to the guy, and I'm thinking, gosh, do I have to weld? Get the
Yeah.
torch and the solder? He's like, no, no, no. You just use these. I'm like, really? That's and it's done. It looks great. I sent it to a friend of mine who's a commercial union plumber, and he's like, "Wow, you did cleaner work than my guys do here, right?" But
Yeah.
I'm willing to
Yeah.
learn that. I'm willing to learn that because I already had some of the underlying skills. This was
Yep.
just a new little piece. It's like buying a new tool, right?
Yep.
How do I use this tool? Well, that's what advertising is. It's a tool to get you in front of people
Yep.
who then to make. So what would you say? You talk to a lot of people, and some people say, Mark, I want you to do it for us. They hire you, you do it, there you go.
Yep.
And other people don't. Besides the money, what else
Hmm.
do you see as the difference there?
Time. Do you have time to learn it yourself?
Okay.
And I mean, that's like any tool, right? And the advertising platforms, because they are complex and because your own money is being spent on it and it's painful to lose it incorrectly or like it's like feels like a slot machine, it takes quite a bit of time to sort out and figure out what do all these settings and options mean. And so that's the factor, I think, where people come to us and say, hey, we either want to do it for you or we want to buy one of your DIY advertising kits and learn it ourselves. But we know that it's going to take more time if we learn it ourselves. And either way is great, right? Like it's just if you have if you don't have the time and you have the money, you hire someone to do it. If you have the time and you don't have the money, you do it yourself and you follow a good plan.
Yeah, I have a graphic designer's son, but like a lot of you who have children who have a skill, getting him to do my graphic design is very difficult. He's got his
Yeah.
own family and stuff like that, so I
Yeah.
try not to bother
You're
him.
low on the totem pole.
Yeah. But there are some times where I'm like, listen, this is above my pay grade, like my book covers or something like that. And then there are other times where I'll do something, I'll send it to him and he'll go, yeah. Well, he'll say to me, I taught you well.
Yeah.
And my payback is if somebody sees something and goes, oh, did your son do this? I'm like, okay, cool. I must have done that at a level. So again, I have certain skills, graphic design skills, stuff like that. The
Yeah.
banners that I showed you, if you come to Wedding MBA, you'll see the banners. I did those banners. But if I go back 5 iterations ago, it was probably a banner he did that I've been tweaking ever
Yeah.
ever
Yeah.
since.
Yeah.
And that kind of reminds me of your DIY kits because your DIY kit is not start from zero and go
Mm-mm.
learn it yourself, right? So you're
Mm.
actually there's an in between here. I'm going to go watch YouTube videos and go figure out how to do this, or I'm going to go ask ChatGPT how to do this. You're actually giving them tools that they still have to, learn how to use them, but
Yeah.
they're at the 50-yard line or better instead of the zero, right?
I really appreciate you like saying that and bringing it up because we've worked really hard to like make it a almost like a toolbox, right? You've got your hammer, you've got your measuring tape, you've got your level, and instead of like going out to like to get a new tool every time to the garage, like it's all with you right there, and it makes the production of your advertising campaigns, if you're DIYing it, it makes it faster. Someone asked like, "Oh, how long does it take to use one of the kits?" And it's like, well, it really depends on your technical skills and your skills to write ad copy or whatever. And anyway, it's different for every person. But the thing that I'm so proud of is that we've created something that no matter who you are and what your skills are, it's a hell of a lot faster than going to find those individual bits of information individually themselves.
Right. And some of this is like Canva templates, right?
Sure. Canva templates, ChatGPT prompt scripts, like all these things that are just tools ready for you to use. So you don't have to go like Google, how do I use ChatGPT to write ad copy? Like it's right there. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I've been speaking about AI a lot. I am speaking at Wedding MBA about
Yeah.
this. And prompt engineering, knowing what to ask and how to ask it is so important. And the fact that you're giving scripts, which is like a template for Canva or whatever, is teaching them how to ask a better question.
Yeah.
I notice with my Ask Alan Anything, my AI alter ego, people go in and ask a question, but they've given no context. And so
Yep.
I've added some prompts to say, give it more context, tell it who you are, tell it what it's for, tell it the format that you want. And I also said, feel free to challenge the answer and say, hey, that's not what I'm looking for. Give me this.
Yeah.
But it's those prompts that make such a difference between going to a blank ChatGPT screen, especially if you're using a free version and you haven't customized it or done any of that.
Yeah.
You're going to get the same answer everybody else gets. And then you're going to wonder why your content looks generic. It's because you gave it generic input.
Yeah, and there's a little marketing insight lesson here because we are too close to our own businesses to tell ChatGPT what we actually want it to produce a lot of times, or to we know all the things in our heads, and so we don't even think about it from an objective perspective. And so something like a ChatGPT prompt script, it asks you questions that you don't even realize you should be asking or should be putting into ChatGPT because it all lives in your head and you know it all there. But the fact is that someone who doesn't know anything about you needs certain information that you may not even consider. So things like ChatGPT prompt scripts are super powerful for just like getting out of your own head and making something clear that works.
Right. Just imagine you're going to build a house and you're going to hire an architect and you say, okay, build me a house, design a house for me.
Yeah.
Right. And then you walk away.
Yeah.
Right. Right. You walk
Okay.
away. Okay. So they're going to design a house that they think maybe, but do you have a family? Do people come and visit with you?
Yeah.
Where do you spend most of your time? Do you have children? Do you plan on having children? Do you
Do
have
you have
pets?
pets?
Right. Right.
Yes.
Right. All these things. But, tell me more about you. Right. And,
Yeah.
and I think about, I live in a neighborhood. It's an HOA neighborhood, Toll Brothers Home. So that a lot of us have the same basic floor plan,
Yep.
but different facades and different things like that. But yet, if you go from house to house to house, same floor plan, the house looks different,
Very different. Yeah. Yeah.
right? And we purposely chose this floor plan because it's got a teeny tiny living room. And if you ever see me
Hmm.
playing piano online, that's where the piano is. It's what should be the living room, and this is a small piano too, because we spend time in the family room. It's the kitchen, the breakfast
Yeah.
area. That's where all of our time. And if people are over, that's where everybody congregates, the kitchen and the family room. So why have a formal living room, a big formal living room that's going to be a dust collector, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just never
And
going
what
to
you're
be.
sharing is like make it your own. Like there
Yeah.
are templates and tools and things, but it's really amazing to be able to use these tools to make something your own and make it unique because when you are unique, um, uh, I actually heard a really great quote in business that different is better than better. Like being unique and different is better than saying you're better than someone else.
Yeah.
That makes sense? Yeah.
Well, it does.
Customize
I've
it.
actually spoken about this and written about this where we can't say that we're going to do a better job than somebody else on a one-off project because no one else is going to get a chance,
Yep.
right? So that wedding, when you were a photographer, you can't say I took better pictures than anyone could have taken because
Yeah.
we'll never know. There's no way to measure that. In the eyes of the customer, they perceive that the results they wanted were yours because they might perceive they'll be better, but the truth is they'll just be different. That's all
Yeah.
it is they're going to be different. So I love the idea of the templates and Canva and stuff because I use Canva, again, paid version.
Yep.
And sometimes, and I don't know if this is a quirk in Canva or whatever, but I will go in and say, okay, give me the Instagram template. And then I go into Instagram and the format's wrong. The size is
Oh,
wrong.
that's so
Um,
weird.
and I think it
Huh.
could be the laptop versus the iPad versus the phone. I don't
Oh,
know what
yeah,
it
yeah,
is,
yeah.
but it's just the wrong format and stuff's getting create
Yeah.
a graphic and then words are getting cut off, right? So I love
Like,
the fact
wait,
that you're
this was the
giving,
whole point. Yeah.
yeah,
Not
the
the
whole
whole
point
point of
you're
using a
letting me choose
template.
it, right? And this is
Yeah.
not once. Like I once is
Yeah.
user error. I always look in the mirror when I have a problem. I say, okay, you're the problem. I go learn how to fix it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
No,
I think it's the best way to be in business and life is if something goes wrong, the first thing you do is say, okay, what
go
could I
look in
have
the
done different?
mirror,
Right.
take
What can I
responsibility.
That's
Yeah,
it. That
exactly.
or because I'm happily married, it's always my fault. So there you go. So there we
Yeah.
go.
You're
So
sharing a
I
good lesson there, though. Really, 'cause I want to camp on for a second. Is that
yeah,
like whatever you're creating, whether it's like a social post or an ad itself, the visual of that, there's certain placements where things should be because there's overlays on top, like
yeah.
your Instagram handle logo or like the likes and the comments and things on the right hand
Right,
side.
right.
And we are in a time where captions matter. Like if you're speaking to the camera, having
Mhm.
captions underneath you matter, but you don't want those covered up by the logo or by the text of the post. So it's really important to use tools like Canva or templates so that you're putting the captions or any text or even your face in the right place. Because otherwise it's like, oh, this is a really great video, but this person has text over their face. And so here we are.
Well, I see it on the captions all the time that they're covered
Yeah.
up. We're
Yeah.
trying to read this, and captions are important for a few things. It keeps us more engaged. It's
It
great for
totally
people that are
does.
visually impaired. I'm sorry, are
Yep.
hearing impaired, right?
Yep.
Um, Good quality sound, important again for the visually impaired, so they can hear you if they
Or if you're
can't see,
watching it in bed at night next to your partner and you don't want to turn the volume on, you don't want them to know you're on TikTok.
right? Or if you're
Yeah,
sneaking at work and whatever, all those types of things.
exactly.
So that's a really great point about the fact that let's say in Canva, let's say that their format is fine because I think it's still not, but let's say it is, right?
Yeah.
It's not telling me don't put stuff there because it's going to get covered up, but you
That's a
are.
good point. If anyone at Canva is listening, you should take this advice. Like, you need to give warnings and boundary lines. That's a really good idea.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But I think it's also when we think about, let's say, Facebook, we all start with the same blank spaces, right?
Yeah.
We have a circle for our face, we have a hero image up at the top, and then every time we post something, there's a box, right?
Yep.
And but some people are looking on phones, some people are looking on laptops, some people on tablets, some people on desktops. So
So many
what
options.
and then the
Yeah.
same with our websites. I my hero image is me. It's from behind me on stage at Wedding MBA, but when it goes to phone, all the sides get cut off. You still see me,
Hmm.
but I don't know, Mark, how many times have you seen this where, look at somebody's on a phone versus desktop and the people are gone, right? They're
Yeah.
just not in the picture. So again, that your kit. So we have this balance. So when when do you think it's time if somebody's going to learn to do it themselves? What would be one of the, I think maybe the big deciding factor?
What would be the big deciding factor in someone learning to do advertising themselves?
Right, no, whatever it is, just
Yeah.
whether it's advertising, whatever. I'm going to decide to do it myself. I'm going to learn how to do it myself and going to
Yeah.
learn how to do it at a level that will get me good results, as opposed to I'm going to hire somebody else.
Yeah, when you need to be able to carve out time to spend on learning to do it yourself. So I think a great time is maybe, there's different seasonality in different parts of the country. So if it's like slow season and you've got some business goals for the summer, if you're in Florida and no one's getting married, you know what I mean? So carving out a month or two to really like dive into this and DIY it is a really good idea because it does take time and you don't want to fudge it and you don't want to rush it. If you're going to be spending money on ads, you want results, and that money is valuable. You could be paying your mortgage instead or putting money in your kid's college fund. So I think if there's anything in business that it's worth taking the time, if you're going to DIY it, it's advertising. And I know that there's a lot of things that we are told we should do and we should learn and things like that. But when it comes to those decisions, there's so much money in advertising and so much potential to lose money that I feel like that's the one thing that really deserves time and attention and planning ahead.
Well, and I think to me, the kicker is if you're going to be able to use this skill for a long time,
Yeah,
then it might be worth learning. I say might because we always have things pulling at our time. So maybe it's
sure.
not. If you don't really want to do it, then learning how to do it isn't going to make you want to do it anymore. It's just
Yeah,
still not, you're still
yeah.
not going to want to
You
do
bring up
it.
a good point. There has
Right.
to be desire in your heart and your brain, right? Like you can't like go into this. Don't go into
Right.
it like angrily. Like just go into it with an open mind.
Right. But again, it's a skill that will pay dividends to you. But
Yeah.
yet, there are other things in our business like accounting, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I probably could do my own taxes. I'm the son of an accountant,
Absolutely. And you
you
just
know,
follow the little script thing. Yeah.
but I shouldn't be doing it, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's not worth my time. I pay the accountant to do it. Now I do my daily QuickBooks because that doesn't take very long. But at the
Yep.
end of the year, personally in business, I give it to them. They're up on the latest accounting things. Gosh, our tax rules are changing every day. It's kind of like the algorithms on social
That's
media.
such a good point, right? You have to set yourself a reminder, like what's new this quarter?
Right. Well, I,
Go
I remember a
research
good
it.
friend of mine years ago used to speak on social media, and he said before I got on stage, I would go check and make sure it hadn't changed what I was about to say.
Oh my God. Right?
Right.
Because yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. And but that it's so true because listen, if we're not paying to be there, which all of us are who have a profile are not paying to be there. I'm not talking about the
Yep.
advertising, right?
Yep.
Right? They're selling our eyeballs to the
Yep.
advertisers. That's what they're doing. So they can change it anytime they want. We have no recourse, right?
Yep.
If you have a free listing or a free account with anybody and they change something, you can't get mad if they change something. Okay,
Yep.
you're not paying. You can't get
It's
mad.
free. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
free. Now, if you're paying and they change something that you wanted, that's different. You have some recourse there.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And one quick thought too. One of the other reasons why I think it's worth spending time learning to DIY advertising, if it's what you want to do, is
right.
that I feel like advertising is sort of like this condensed, intense version of all of your marketing because it involves creating images that communicate who you are, what make you different and great. It involves writing ad copy, which is important to get correctly, but both of those skills have impacts to making your organic social media better, right? Or even your website better. Like if you're learning to write great advertising copy, like there's things that you learn in there that you can take over to your website and say, oh, I could do this better on my website. So, there's so many skills in the world of advertising that if you do decide to DIY it, that play out into other great parts of your marketing in your business. And I'm so passionate about that because like advertising doesn't live in a silo, but it can be this silo where you learn a whole lot that has a big impact later on other places.
Yeah, it's a great point. And I always say, listen, if you do it yourself and it looks like you did it yourself, you shouldn't
Yeah.
have done it. And
Yeah, yeah.
right. And that's your website, that's your marketing pieces, that's your interior design, whatever it is. If it looks like you did it
Yeah,
yourself, that's immediately taking people's attention away from what they should be, which is, hey, is this for me? Do I want to find out more? Because conversion is what we're trying to get to there.
absolutely.
So if somebody hires you, you have the skill, you have the team, they know what
Yeah.
images, but you're still relying on the business. I still need those images from you, and I still need information because you still have to be able to represent them properly.
Absolutely. I'm so proud of my team that we've built. We manage about $30 million a year in advertising for businesses in the wedding industry. So when someone hires us, like we know exactly what works and what doesn't work. Like we have a system and a process in place. The one thing that we don't that we can't produce is like images of the venue because we're not at the venue. So like images
Right.
and videos are basically all that we need when someone hires us. So that's a
Mhm.
really fast-tracked way. But you know, what we've created with the DIY advertising kits is like condensing our knowledge into like a process for you to follow on your own.
Right.
But yeah, the one thing that we can't produce are images and videos. That's it.
Right. So your DIY kits are almost like how you would train a new staff person, right?
Ooh, I haven't thought of it that way, but yeah, right? Like exactly. This is what
Okay.
you're gonna do. You're gonna follow these steps.
Again,
Exactly.
you think about it, if you were training somebody new, they would have to learn about all those different steps, and then you're going to take them to
Yeah.
another level, but you have to go there. Um,
Did I
yeah,
just find my next great employee, Alan? Someone who's gonna get a kit and they're gonna follow it and they're gonna love it and they're gonna be like, I did it, and okay, thank
I've
you.
I've had a couple of customers who have found people that way, through
That's
things like
awesome.
that. Um, I've actually found something interesting that I'm using Ask Alan Anything, which is my AI alter ego that I've
It's
trained
so
on my
fun,
books.
so brilliant.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm using it as a AI the same way my clients would be using it. So I'm
Yeah.
creating a presentation, and because it has the knowledge that theoretically is in my brain, but it's not as retrievable as it is
Yeah.
digitally, I'm actually getting better answers for my personal things that I need for my presentations and things through there that I'm getting through ChatGPT or Perplexity because it knows me
It's
better.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know how cool do we live in an age where we can create these tools, where you can go to the tool at any time of the day or any time at night
Yeah.
and literally type in what you need or go find what you need and take action on it. And we don't have to wait like we used to in the past. What an amazing time we live in.
Yeah, we have no patience for anything anymore because of
Yeah, it
it.
would turn us into monsters. It's true.
But it's the access to information is just really amazing, and I think you know some people listening understand there was a time BI before the internet. There was actually a time before,
BI. Yeah.
or somebody said the other day they told their kid that they're older than Google, and the kid's like, no, you can't be. Like Google isn't really that old, right?
Google is so young. I know.
It's really so young.
It's true.
But how did we used to have to get information? And then even then it was limited to what we had access to at the library or in the encyclopedia
Yeah.
or the books that, or the people we know, right? The people we
Yeah.
knew. But
Yeah.
this is really it. So I love the fact that you've created something at a price point that everybody can afford because not everybody can afford your services. I get that.
It's
Whether
fair.
it's their average
Yep.
sale or, just budget wise, they don't want to budget for it. But yet it's so important to be in front of couples where they are and where they're
Yep.
looking. And that's going to be Google, Instagram, TikTok, et cetera. Right.
Yeah,
So
and because we live in an attention economy, I discovered that phrase like a year ago, and it's like, wow, the businesses that get the most attention get the most business. And it doesn't matter if you're good business or bad business, like we live in a place in a time where attention matters, and advertising is like the fastest way to get the most attention. And so I really appreciate your enthusiasm for what we've created because you're right, like not everyone can pay for done for you services, and that's totally okay. And I just have such a heart and vision to help more people. And I know that like a tool like a kit is going to be the thing that allows them to get the attention and win in today's attention economy. So thank you so much for sharing that enthusiasm for it.
yeah, you're welcome. And it's the reason I created Ask Alan Anything because I know not
Yeah.
everybody can afford my services.
Yep.
But there's also times where, it's 11 o'clock at night and you're like, I wonder what Alan would say here, right? And
Yeah.
and with your kid, it's like, okay, I can't call right now, but
Yeah.
I have the information right there in front of me. So that's
Yeah.
creating access points like this podcast being free, right? And you giving your time here, right? This is saying, listen, you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay.
Yep.
There's information. But if you want to get good results and you want to get paid for your results you provide, sometimes you have to spend a little bit of money. You don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money. So,
Yeah.
um, and I know you also generously, when you first told me about your kits, you said, if you want to pass on to your listeners, they can have a discount. So I'm going to put you on the spot here. The discount is,
Yes, $100. Anyone who comes and buys a kit from Alan or through Alan, there's a coupon code. It's Alan, ALAN, $100 off the kit. And it's a really substantial part of the pricing of the kit. So it's a
Yeah,
good
they're
deal.
not expensive kits. $100 is a big percentage there.
Yeah,
So
it is. Yeah.
fantastic.
But we want
And
to get it, we want to get it into as many people's hands as possible because we know that makes a difference.
and is there an easy link to that, or should we just put it in the show notes?
Put it in the show notes, but if you go to the idosociety.com/add dash kits, it's right there. But
Okay.
anywhere
The
online. Yeah.
I do society forwards .com
I said
dot
it really
com.
fast. You're right. I
Yeah.
get very excited. Yeah. It's theidosociety.com/ads dot or dash kits. Excuse me. Ads dash kits.
Ads.kit, ADS dash kits. Okay. We'll put it in the show notes as well. You'll be at
Yeah.
Wedding MBA?
Yes, absolutely. We'll be
Okay.
there. Bright-eyed
All
and
right.
bushy-tailed every day. Can't wait.
Yeah, I will be there. You'll be there, and we were together on Venue XAI's podcast together the other day, which is where I got the idea to
Oh, you're
invite you
so
on here.
tempting
So
me to go down that rabbit trail. Yeah.
a bet will be there as well. So
Yep.
come and stop by the booth. Come and see us. I'm presenting 3 times. Are you presenting this year, or
Yes, sir. I will be on stage. We're going to talk about advertising.
what day? Remember?
It is the second day. Is that Wednesday or
Wednesday.
Thursday?
Wednesday.
Yep. Second day.
I'm-
We'll be there, be out and about Wednesday.
Great. I will be presenting Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and I look forward to seeing you all there. Mark, thanks for coming on again.
Thanks so much, Alan.
Hi, it's Alan Berg. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Wedding Business Solutions podcast. If you have a suggestion for a future topic or guest, please go to podcast.alanberg.com and you can make your suggestion there. You can also do it at Ask Me Anything, which is a button on that page, or just email me at alan@weddingbusinesssolutions.com. And if you'd like to find out how I can help you with sales training, website review, consulting, or speaking for your group or organization, possibly at no cost to the organization, contact me directly, alan@weddingbusinesssolutions.com. Thanks again for tuning in.